Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Tim Time, but this is like Tim Time out back. I've actually gone down the garage. I have an issue with the Husqvarna mower. Oh, it's a 2754. I don't know. It's a bigger mower, and if you look at the front wheels, you might pick that out already. That there's something crazy going on here. See if I can give you a better look. So the steering wheel is straight level, but the wheels, they kind of point. I don't know if I'm actually capturing this well enough or not, but they actually point out. Now there's three angles when you're aligning a car. There's camber, caster, and toe. And while the other two don't really apply to this situation too much, toe is the one that actually causes the wheels. The tire should actually point almost straight ahead, or in some cases in a little bit, and then just driving down the road they go forced out and go straight ahead. They should definitely not be pointing both out. So, what am I going to do about this? Well, I have an idea. This rod right here, it basically goes from the steering wheel to the wheel. There's one on each side, and it's a pretty healthy size steel, as you can see compared to my finger. It's about 5/8 steel. So I'm wondering if they start to straighten out or not. So I straightened the wheel and popped one of the tie rods off by popping out the I believe it's a 9/16 nut down at the bottom, and pulled it out. I went till I could get the wheel pretty straight, which that is, even though it doesn't look like it from there, it does measure to be straight. And then measure the distance I am away from the center of the hole, and there that comes out to be just about just about 1/2 of an inch. So from the center line of the hole to where the center of the bolt would be, that it comes out to be just about 3/4 of an inch. And that's to make both wheels straight, along with, well, of course the steering wheel is not going to be straight, but not until we're done. So now if you look carefully, by bringing in that wheel about 3/4 of an inch, I just disconnected the tie rod and moved it in about 3/4 of an inch. This one, the wheels, the one on the left here, the wheel is still connected to the tie rod, even though the steering wheel is straight. You can see that one will need to be brought in as well. I'm going by the assumption it's going to be about the same, 3/4 of an inch. So what I decided to do is pull the tie rods off, cut approximately 3/4 of an inch off them, thread them, and use a coupling and put them back together. Let's check how far this is going so far, or how well this is going so far. I started with just doing one because I don't have the couplings here yet. So I'm going to start with one so far and see how that goes. And while it'll still work, I can probably take all the adjustment out to make them straight, or straighter anyhow. The steering wheel will be off, and that'll probably take away some of my turn either to the right or left, depending on which one I shorten. But I'll show you as I go. I'll show you the status here. So to pull, it's hard to hold the camera and use the tools all at the same time. But to pull the tie rod off, as I said, there's the tie rod not tie rod. They call it a drag link. It pushes through here, and there's a nut down below, a nut and a washer. They're 9/16 with a lock washer. And on the tie rod link itself, there's actually an area where you can hold and get a nut or a wrench on the top as well. So to get the other side off, you can get down in here in this hole here with a socket and extension, and as you can turn the wheel to a point where that'll line right up to it, and then you can loosen that up with the same method as you did there, but on this side the nut's facing the top. Then the whole thing pops off, and there you have it. However, I've already cut this and threaded it. So I cut it, I actually went direct center, and then I cut 3/4 inch from the right side, not the left side, because it would have been too hard to get in there to hold that, to thread it. So I cut direct center, like it would be here, and then I cut 3/4 inch off of this side. Threaded it to a little bit over an inch, about 1.25 inches, and I'll use a lock nut and a coupler, and I'll probably end up welding the coupler on this side because it's not going to really need to spin, and this will be the only side that I can spin it on. As soon as I get the coupler, I'll be able to clue you in a little bit further to how this goes. But you know, don't fret, because actually you can buy these already done. I found them on Amazon. I believe that Husqvarna makes them, but they'll probably fit multiple tractors. The factory ones are a little bit different. They actually, apparently they drilled basically through here, and then this thread's inside that. Now I haven't looked to see actually how big the metal is or anything, but you know, if I screw this up really bad, there's always that option. Alrighty, so no, that's not a snake. That is the finished product. So what I want to do is I want to put it up and dummy it, make sure that I can get the full adjustment out of it by, this will move in and out probably a good 3/4 inch. And not to mention I shortened the shaft a little bit, so I'll dummy it up, make sure I can get some adjustment out of it, and then have enough to move it should things change either way. And then if I'm good, I'll take it and I'll just throw a quick weld on here. Not that I need that to hold it anymore, because it's threaded on there, probably to about here, and that'll be more than enough. I just don't want to have 2 adjustment points. So if I put a quick weld on there, then that'll take the place of a lock nut. So let me do that. I'll make sure it fits and everything, and then I'll throw a weld on it. And due to a medical issue and some bad weather and everything, I got to get this back on the road, and well, back on the grass, I guess, and start cutting. So if that's good, I'll do this side and do some grass cutting, and then do the other side later. But I'll let you know how this works out. All right, so there it is. And you can see it's showing a good amount of toe in. And I probably have about 6 turns. I could turn it out, and I'd say I think 1 turn might even be almost too much for that. So I definitely have enough travel there. That won't be a problem at all. So I'm going to take it back off and weld up on the back and get ready to get this thing out and cut some grass, and we'll be good. So like I said, since I'm only going to do the one side right now, just so I can get out there and get the grass cut, I'll show you that the toe ends up being almost perfect. Put the wheels off a little bit. So hang on 1 minute and I'll show you that. Okay, so there it is with the toe about equal, and that's just about perfect. And I'll show you what I mean by the wheel being off. So there was the wheel off, and I guess about not quite 1/4 turn, and you might think, well, you can just change that. But the problem is then I lose 1/4 turn of steering from the other direction. So it's something definitely that I'll take care of, but in the meantime, that'll be good enough to get me cutting grass. That's not a big issue at all. I'm not going to really probably even miss that 1/4 turn. So, but I still want to get it right and get the wheel straight. All right, it's welded, but ugliest weld ever. But guess what else was broken? My MIG welder. Wouldn't go on high. So it took me a while to get the penetration into the steel. And then on top of that, the gauge for the argon wasn't working. So I had to go by sound. So just goes to show you when it rains it pours, but that should be fine. Like I said, that the only thing that's doing is keeping that nut from turning. So okay, well I'll put it on and see how it goes. All right, just wanted to sum this up by saying I haven't done the other side yet. I was going to do it the other day, but you know, with grass cutting season now, anytime I come down here to mess with a lawn tractor, unfortunately it has to be to cut grass. Works great with the side that I did do, because you can see the toe still looks really good. Steering wheel's not off by that much. But I will do this side, with my finger right there, I will do this side. But one thing I do want to update was when I was doing these, remember I had said that you can get these things for under $100 around on Amazon. I think they were $79, so I put them on my list to keep an eye on them. Last week, or a little bit, probably a little more than that, I was looking, I left them in my list and I was looking. There they are there. They were $23 for the set. So I couldn't, let me see if I can zoom out so you can get, so I couldn't pass that up in case I totally destroyed this, this update or this refurbishment or whatever you want to call it to my installed drag links. But anyhow, so I bought these, $23, I couldn't pass it up, and I wish I could have got this out sooner if anybody was looking for them, because I checked and they're back up to $85 now. So just a little lesson, put things in your list and watch them. But anyhow, it works good, and if you want to give it a try, that's what you do. You can either buy those, or if you have the time and the equipment, you can just tap and sleeve the one like I did. Thanks for watching. Take care.